Hello guys, I'm Kobne.
And I'm Lux.
And our door's open. Anyway, this is our full-on spoiler-filled Avengers Infinity War Part 1 review. Yeah.
Or fourth, only.
Yeah. So everyone dies.
Yeah,
how do you feel about it?
That was going to be the first thing I was going to say. Everyone just dies.
Yeah.
The last 5 minutes are really quite horrible. Suddenly all the music cuts out. And
people just withers away.
Yeah.
And it's just, what the fuck is happening? But I mean, we knew that it would happen. We saw him snap his fingers.
Yeah.
So we were kind of like, all right, it happens. But
and Thor was like, what did you do?
Yeah, but because he didn't know.
Yeah.
But I think I was more like, how does it happen? Is that blink of light?
He really hinted at it for a long time. He said, I could ruin civilizations with the snap of my finger.
Yeah.
It was said like 6 times or something.
But I was like, all right, is everyone just gone? Is half the people just gone now? Or and then we saw
half the people.
Was it Buggy who was the first?
He was the first one.
Wither away,
yeah.
like leaves.
Did his arm actually stay behind? It didn't, did it? I thought it would.
Good fucking question. I don't think it did.
No. But I thought it would. When he withered away, I was like, Cap is gonna go over and check, and there's just an arm.
Yeah. Maybe we should take it from the top.
Yeah.
Loki and Heimdall.
Actually, I'm just gonna say, that is a bit bullshit. The Thor Ragnarok ended with, oh, Asgard is not the place, it's the people. Everyone's dead.
Every Asgardian is now dead. So
there's no Asgard anymore.
No.
According to Odin, there's no Asgard anymore.
But do we actually know that? Because he says he only obliterates half a population. So did we maybe just see half of Asgard?
On the ship?
Yeah.
But he blew up the ship at the end.
He blew up one of the ships.
No, they only had one.
Yeah, but he had his own ship.
Yeah, did you think he actually took the Asgardians on his...
I'm just saying he's very strict throughout the series that he only destroys half a population. You know?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, if they actually prove that he took half of the Asgardians on his ship, I'm gonna call it a bit of bullshit. That could have been explained better. If in the next film, half of the Asgardians suddenly appear, I'm just gonna be like, no.
I don't think half of the Asgardians are suddenly gonna turn up. But there is some like link that Thor and all those guys sort of get a power from Asgardians. You know? I don't know if it was just Hela, but I also feel like maybe Thor.
Oh, I think it was only Hela who got power from Asgard specifically.
Yeah, not so sure.
But again, I'm just gonna say it's a bit like, I was actually excited at the end of Thor Ragnarok. Like, oh, they're gonna settle in Norway.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a new Asgard in Norway.
They didn't make it to Norway.
They didn't.
They were bloody close, but they didn't make it.
They went out of space.
Yeah, but looking down on Earth.
Did they?
They did.
I didn't notice.
It's just the Thor end credit scene. They look down on Earth and then they see the big ship.
Oh! At the end of Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, sure. So every Asgardian is killed, presumably.
Presumably, Loki, Heimdall, gone.
Yeah, Loki's death was quite. It was a good one.
Yeah, noble death.
It was nice to see him using his mischief
for good,
helping his brother.
Yeah.
Even when Thor was like, we don't have the Tesseract that blew up in Asgard, and he's like,
well,
actually, and then Thor's like, you
dickhead,
conniving son of a bitch.
But yeah, he dies,
and
we're pretty sure he died.
And Hulk gets hit,
get his ass whooped by Thanos.
He kind of surprises Thanos and gets a few hits,
kicks in, yeah,
and we're like, okay, this is going quite well.
Yeah. But then
Hulk might have a chance.
And that was just a brilliant way from the beginning to show how powerful Thanos are, even without all the stones.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, he gets all the stones.
Yeah, he had one when we meet him the first time.
Yeah, and then he gets the
second. Then he gets the second. The first one, where did he actually... That's the Eva.
No, that's the purple one. That's the one Peter Quill had. And
That's the Nova Core. He must have eradicated the Nova Corps.
He and they said he blew up Xandar.
Oh, true. Oh, that's just a mistake of mine because I was in Sakar. That's what I thought he said. And I was a bit confused because the names are so similar.
Yeah.
Xandar, Sakar.
Just to note, because if we may seem a bit confused, it's because we literally just came back from the cinema and we saw it. We've only seen it the one times, and it's 2.5 hours.
More actually.
so some things actually just
It's a bit blurry.
Go above your head.
But that's actually one of the things I was like, where did he get that from?
Xandar.
And you know, I kind of remembered that he gave it to the collector, but then I remembered, no, he tried to give it.
No, he gave it, and then the collector's servant was like, I can kill myself for this.
Oh, that's true. That's
and
true.
then everything blew up.
And then they collected it again.
Yeah,
and gave it to Nova Corps at the end.
Then Thanos' little guy with the hammer.
Ronan,
yeah, got it. And then Quill took it, and then
that's true.
Watch Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, but he has that stone. That's actually quite interesting that they didn't show that at all.
I just think that
it would have been, you know,
it's not part of the story. Xandar has no impact on the story.
So Cruella de Vil is dead.
Yeah, probably. Or maybe, I mean, again, he only destroys half a population.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
It just seems like
I don't know
on this quest.
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like he's.
I don't know how firm he is on that
belief,
on that like principle that he only destroys half a population. But he says it like 4 or 5 times throughout the movie that half the universe needs to go.
Again, it's a point he's making, so it's a big payoff at the end.
Yeah,
like the finger snapping, it really works.
Yeah.
Then the ship blows up and
we go
Thor is frosted into space.
Yeah.
And Hulk is teleported to Earth by
Frost.
By Heimdall.
Heimdall's last act.
Yeah.
Why did he pick Hulk?
I thought the exact thing. I was like, why? I think it was because Hulk was close to him. That's what I kind of. It seemed like Hulk was the closest one.
Maybe.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But that's also something you could ask yourself. Why did Heimdall pick
Hulk
instead of Loki or Thor? I mean,
Loki was dead at this point. But Thor. He should have picked Thor.
Yeah. That is true.
My stomach just growled.
That was. I hope we didn't. Do that.
we might. But we then go down to Earth and the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah,
I think
Doctor Strange meets Tony Stark for the first time.
Actually, before that, he meets Hulk.
No, Hulk comes with Doctor Strange. Out of the teleporter.
Yeah, but Doctor Strange meets Hulk.
Yeah, that's true.
Hulk crashes through the ceiling and is like, Thanos is coming! And then Doctor Strange is like, who the fuck is Thanos?
Yeah. And that was, I mean, there's a lot of laughs in this movie.
It's quite good. Also, just the whole scene with Pepper Potts and Tony Stark.
Yeah, with
where they're joking and talking about he had a dream about them having a baby.
Yeah, and in
hindsight, that's really sad.
He would like put it up towards that dream when you have to pee in real life, and then because he thought he was having a baby, and
he wanted to have a baby. Yeah,
he was having a baby in real life.
Should we have a baby?
And you say it's real sad.
In hindsight,
we don't know if it's real sad yet. We both have a theory that when Thanos snapped his fingers,
it was kind of the first thing I told you.
Yeah,
I was like, when he gets home, Pepper's dead.
Yeah, that was kind of a theory that the big thing in this movie was, of course, that everyone was kind of like either Captain America dies or Iron Man dies. Well,
none of them died.
None of them died.
A lot of other people died.
Getting to it, yeah. But then we were like, well, Iron Man is gonna go home, and then Pepper's just not gonna be there.
And actually, I thought when people started disappearing, I thought they wouldn't kill Spider-Man, you know, because of all the things. And then I thought, Aunt May's dead. It was exactly the same thing. I was like, if he doesn't die, she's dead.
Yeah. That's true.
Now she might. Oh. Tony
She's
needs
alive.
Tony needs to go home
to
and tell Aunt May.
Yep.
That Peter's dead.
Yep. The very overprotective Aunt May. He's gonna get his ass whooped.
That's so brilliant.
She's gonna kick his ass.
Yeah.
Anyway,
That was just a really good kind of theory. I really like it.
Yeah.
Then they contact Stark.
Yeah, they contact Stark, and then all shit breaks loose.
We have a brief explanation of the stones.
True.
They're kind of like, this is all of them.
Yeah, and then what they called Child of Thanos? Children of Thanos?
Yeah, he actually, I think Ebony Maw, the guy with the telekinesis, he called everyone he tried to subjugate the Children of Thanos.
Okay.
I can't remember if they're called the Children of Thanos, but his henchmen.
The fucking henchmen. Yeah. And
things are kind of getting drawn. Things in New York are getting pulled towards a giant ring.
Yeah. And then they actually put up a pretty decent fight, those two, and actually kidnap Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we meet, I think he's called Ebony Maw, the one with the telekinesis.
How do you know that?
They're from the comics and did some research.
Yeah.
He's actually quite the adversary of Doctor Strange in the comics, so there was kind of a reasoning to them going against them.
That worked out well.
I can't remember the big guy with the axe.
He also just seemed like a brute.
This fight scene was just great, and I'm gonna tell in the spoiler-free review, I talked about that Banner is one of my favorite characters, and it all starts here.
Yeah.
With him,
where Hulk refuses to come out.
Tony's like, "Do your thing."
Yeah.
And the best thing is Tony's really like, dude, I'm so excited for this. It's been so long, and we're gonna fight with the big green guy again. And you can just see the green creeping up and then suddenly disappearing again.
And then just the perfect coming from Tony Stark, where it's like, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of my new friends. It's just like, fuck.
And it's hilarious.
It is hilarious. Ruffalo is very, very fun.
He's actually mostly comedic relief.
He's a comedic input.
Yeah.
Just as he was in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I don't know if that is his new role just now.
It seems like they might do more with him. But it's again with the whole thing with Hulk not wanting to appear.
Yeah, and Hulk actually kind of gaining a conscience is
that happened in Ragnarok.
Not just being smash, actually being can be calm.
I was ready when he said, "I'm gonna do it myself." I was like, he's gonna transform and still be Banner.
Yeah,
that's what I thought would happen.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm not opposed to that happening.
No, and in the comics, sometimes he actually is knowledgeable of who he is while in Hulk form.
Yeah. So yeah.
A lot of cool fights.
We see Spider-Man for the first time.
Spider-Man just whips in.
Spider-Man just kind of comes out of nowhere. He's on a field trip, and then
Stan Lee cameo. He's the bus driver.
He's the bus driver from Spider-Man's field trip.
Was he also a bus driver there?
He was the bus driver.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, I couldn't remember. It's just one of my favorite lines. He's like, "Have you kids never seen an alien invasion before?" He has such an iconic voice.
What will happen when he dies?
There's been did you read anything about all these things all saying that his daughter and her lawyers are really abusing him and trying to take his money and all this? And he came out with a statement saying that it was bullshit. He seemed really angry, and people are quite nervous for Stan Lee because he recently lost his wife. And it seems like a lot of people are trying to
take advantage.
Yeah, and he even came with the statement saying no one is taking advantage, but people are like, they are like, is this kind of like a ransom note or something?
Yeah.
Is this true?
Yeah.
Even Kevin Smith, the director, he did a very fine tweet where he actually said, "Stan, if you want to, you can stay with me. I'll take care of you." It was very sweet.
Yeah. We're getting off topic.
But it's fine. Yeah. This is going to be a blabbering.
We only have 30 minutes on that.
We're just going to stop and resume, I think, if we can.
Yeah. And now here we're coming to a point where I'm actually forgetting what's the next.
I remember. There's all this great fighting, and the fighting scenes are spectacular. I especially actually like this one because Ebony Maw, the telekinesis guy, his fight with Strange and Spider-Man is really cool.
Yeah. He is, but just cool.
Yeah. Strange is then knocked unconscious, and they try to take him away.
Suffocated, right?
He's suffocated, but yeah, he's unconscious.
Yeah.
And then his cape tries to escape with him.
Yeah.
And some things happen, and eventually he's caught again and brought into this big circle in the sky, where Spider-Man and Iron Man follows.
Yeah.
And they kind of go into space. Also, a really great introduction of the Iron Spider suit.
Very good.
I thought that was really clever. Yeah. Instead of Tony Stark just at some point giving it to him.
Yeah, it's actually saving his life.
It's saving his life. And, you know, he just says, release Project R17 or something.
And then he just burst out of the Avengers.
And, you know, I was kind of ready. Is this a Hulkbuster thing or something?
Yeah, I was also like, what, is it like an Iron Man exoskeleton or some sort?
We actually didn't even talk about the new Iron Man suit.
No.
I thought it was extremely cool.
Yeah, I must admit I saw it coming, because I saw Pepper wearing just regular joggers, and his sweatpants suit was very. It was subtle in a non-subtle way.
Okay.
And
I just, as a comic book fan, it was really cool to see this suit.
Yeah, it was a regenerative.
Yeah, I think in the comics he called it the Extremis suit.
Yeah.
And it's actually implanted under his skin in the comics.
Jesus.
So it can just appear.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool, and they get really creative with all his attacks.
Yeah, basically all attacks in this.
Yeah, but I thought especially him, because suddenly he could, you know, we just see the scene where it's in the trailer where he actually says, "I need some more thrust." Yeah. And he transforms his feet into a jet engine.
Yeah, that's true.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
What happens after that? Do we actually cut to the Guardians? I think we do.
We do. We see the Guardians flying towards a job.
Yeah, something.
Where they think that
they've heard the distress signal from the Asgardians.
Yeah. And then they of course arrive, and just Asgardians floating in space. And then one lands on the window, and he opens his eyes, and it's awful.
They're really freaked out.
Yeah, and then of course they're like, how the hell is this dude alive? He has been out in space for quite some time.
This is actually also one of the most comedic scenes of the movie, I think. In retrospect, it's just he's lying unconscious, and Drax is like, "That's a male angel."
Yeah, that's an angel. There's a pirate and an angel had a baby, and Star-Lord, he's just having none of it.
He's like, no, he's not.
Nah, he's just a regular dude.
And then suddenly Gamora tries to fill up his muscle, and it's like, this is like a carbon fiber thing, sort of thing. And then you can hear quietly Quill saying to himself, "Why are you touching his muscles? Stop!"
So we see some jealousy in there.
It's really funny. Actually.
It's really funny.
He eventually wakes up.
Wakes up, kind of distressed. Kind of sees a rabbit. Doesn't know what he's.
A raccoon. He calls a rabbit.
He calls him a rabbit.
Yeah, he does. And then he quickly explains that he needs to find Thanos and kill him, and he tells about this planet with an all-destroying weapon.
Niadelvia.
It kind of sounded Nordic.
It was Nordic, I think.
But you know, I think it's based in mythology.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just an alien planet, so I was like,
And it wasn't really a planet, was it? It was a mechanical...
It was a space station around a star.
Was it actually a star?
They called it a dying star.
Okay.
So...
Anyway, they split up.
Gamora, Star-Lord, and Drax and Mantis go for Thanos at nowhere.
Is nowhere, where we've been, where the Collector
lives. And Groot, Rocket, and Thor goes to the Nordic dwarf place.
Yeah.
To make this weapon.
Put the name right here.
Yeah.
He's just looking.
Oh, huh? Over there.
Yeah. And just to get this out of the way, this dying star, it is manned by dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
There is
only
one dwarf left, and if there's one character, if there's one actor you want to play a dwarf in this day and age, who do you think it is? Correct.
Warwick Davis.
It is
John Rhys Davis.
the all lovable Peter Dinklage, who makes a weird cameo.
So we talked about Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, and you said his voice was weird, and I give
It was
that.
way too deep.
And I give you that, but we also talked about if he was just talking his normal voice. First of all, I don't think it would match the size of this person, and it would be you would get a hint of Tyrion. You would feel like that would be Tyrion, and he needs to be another person. He needs to be another character, you know.
True, but the cameo, I think ultimately was actually.
I thought it was a hilarious cameo.
It was a hilarious cameo, but the voice kind of ruined it for me. I'm just gonna say, but it's a minor thing.
That's very snobby. But
they split up. That's the last part we talked about.
Yeah, and then we see Peter Dinklage at this star.
Yeah, that's actually not. Yeah, that's not the next part. I think the next part is actually Vision and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, which are in Scotland.
Yeah, they're in Glasgow.
For some fucking reason. I think they're actually just in Scotland.
Oh, I just thought it said Glasgow.
Yeah, they talk about getting a train to Glasgow at some point.
Might be. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't. And they are then attacked.
I think that this was one of the first kind of shocks. You're like, they're talking about he's taking a train. He's going to go back to the Avengers because he has
a job. He wants to.
And then he's like, what if I don't go?
Yeah.
What if we just
stay here
and be together forever
and keep out?
And then he's stabbed.
Then he's stabbed
through the chest. Yeah. Back to chest.
Yeah. By another one of these henchmen of Thanos.
The guy who looks like the Green Goblin.
Yeah, but not green, just sort of like grey.
The Grey Goblin.
Then the Avatar kind of woman.
I think she's called. I only know a few of the names. I think she's called Proxima Midnight.
Yeah, I'm gonna put out and say that Lux is gonna find a picture of all of them.
Yeah, but again, I think she's called Proxima Midnight.
Yeah, that's fine. She kind of looks like one of the avatars.
Yeah, with a bit of black face painting.
Black Vision and Scarlet Witch are then fighting them pretty heavily.
And they're losing.
They are actually about to lose, and then they get some help. And that's actually the first time that the cinema started applauding.
Yeah, they were like, "Who's that? Oh, it's Steve!"
Yeah. And then, of course, Captain America came and helped.
With Black Widow and Falcon.
And we actually got an applaud, and I honestly didn't. I also think that kind of says which side they were on in maybe the Civil War.
I think this was also just, this is the first appearance. We haven't seen Black Panther, that's important to say.
Not yet, no.
But I think he's in Black Panther as far as I know.
We don't know.
Because he has a relationship with Black Panther, and at the end of Civil War we saw him being in Wakanda.
True.
So I think he has, but he hasn't really played that larger role since Civil War, where Iron Man has had the whole Spider-Man thing and such.
Yeah.
So it was just this character's returning, and I think because he was the fugitive, it's an even bigger thing. You know, Stark is in just broad daylight. He's the one undercover, and he's
the criminal.
Yeah, he's the criminal.
To be honest.
So yeah, he joins and kicks some ass.
Yeah, I would still say I think it was a small hint of we are with you, Captain Rogers.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So they help him actually defeat them. Don't kill them.
No, let them run away.
Let the two henchmen escape.
They're like, we don't want to kill you.
Which is one of my big flaws.
Well, Captain America has been against killing people. He does it when it's necessary.
I mean, he did it in the first Avenger movie.
Yeah.
So I don't see why he should stop here.
Yeah.
And seeing as how big of adversaries these two people are, it would be a good idea to kill them.
It was a bit weird. I'll agree.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
But then they escape. Captain America and the whole gang comes back to the Avengers headquarters.
Yeah,
where
and
Captain
meets
Rhodes, which is still going on his exoskeleton, so not completely recovered.
And he's not mad at all. He's just like, it's so great to see you again.
Also, when it was Falcon carrying Vision, I was like, all right, there's gonna be tension here. This is gonna be awkward. But we totally glanced past it. I mean, Falcon is carrying Vision into. We forgot that the reason Captain America actually showed up was because Banner called him. Banner called him?
Yeah, he had the phone from Stark.
That's true. Sorry. That's true.
I just remembered that Banner actually joins them at the headquarters.
Yeah. He's actually there.
He's there already.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rhodey's just cool as shit.
Yeah.
He doesn't give a fuck.
No grudges.
And then we see Bruce and Nat meeting each other.
Which also was kind of glanced over.
I think it wasn't enough. You know, they just... she's like, Bruce.
Yeah.
And he's...
Hi, Ned.
Hi, Ned.
Yeah.
And then you just hear Falcon saying...
Awkward.
Which was what everyone thought.
Actually, also one thing I want to press is this this NATO guy. I can't remember his name.
General Ross.
Ross? I sort of have a feeling that he's going to become an antagonist.
He's actually, as far as I remember, this is the General Ross, who's actually been a part of the military program from the Incredible Hulk film.
Yeah.
He's the one who had the whole military pursuing Hulk and making Abomination, you know.
Yeah.
So he's been a major player for a long time,
Yeah.
but kind of stepped into it in Civil War again.
Yeah.
So he has a huge role to play in the comics and such.
Yeah.
And they've been using him for quite some time. So yeah.
I have a feeling also just the way he acted towards Captain America and when they all returned back.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that he is so set in his ways and he's so adamant of being right that it could turn to being something ugly.
Also, a great scene where Rhodey is like, he's told by Ross. Ross tells him arrest them,
men.
And he just swipes him away.
No, he says consider it done, and then he just swipes them away
and doesn't do a thing about it. So that's great.
Yeah. Then
what happens next? Let's see. Are we back to the Guardians? I feel like we are.
I feel like we also need to go to Wakanda at some point.
That's one of the last things, actually.
I mean, we get to Wakanda where we see T'Challa giving Bucky his arm back.
But as far as I remember, them confronting Thanos at Nowhere is before that.
Yeah,
quite before that.
Could be.
Because let's say they arrive to Nowhere.
Yeah.
They confront Thanos.
They see Thanos is about to interrogate the Collector.
Yeah, he's kind of torturing him more. Yeah.
Starting to.
Yeah. And Drax can't control himself.
Yeah.
And he's kind of going to rush at Thanos.
Yeah.
And then Mantis steps in and says, sleep.
Put him asleep, yeah. Which then makes a noise.
And we're like, perhaps they saved it. This might be a stealthy operation still. They might just be able to pull it off. And then Gamora just goes flying away and stabs him.
In the neck.
First in the neck and then the gut.
Yeah.
With this knife, which we actually shown at some point was given to her.
A flashback is given to her by Thanos when he kidnapped her.
Yeah, and eradicated half her planet.
The population.
Yeah.
Yep, that happened to her.
So that's really meaningful. She stabs him with the knife he gave him. Her, sorry.
And then we see Quill. Then Thanos dies. And then we see Quill like, well, that was easy.
And everyone in the cinema was like, this is...
Yeah, we will that.
And I would say I had actually... When they were about to cut away, I had figured it out. I was like, this is the reality stone.
Yeah. I of course, we were, 30 minutes into the movie and Thanos dies? Fuck no.
It was just... I think some people might have speculated how exactly he didn't die. Yeah. But I was like, this is an illusion. Yeah. This is the reality stone.
Yeah.
So, he didn't die.
And it was actually a ploy to see if Gamora could go through with it and how she would feel about doing it.
Yeah. And she breaks down and cries when she actually kills him.
Yeah. Which shows remorse.
Yeah. Not remorse exactly, I think just her conflicted feelings of this was a father figure of some sort.
Yeah.
It's definitely conflicted.
Yeah. Up for debate.
Yeah. But he appears. The Collector wasn't there at all. He killed him.
We don't know, but probably long gone.
He has the stone.
Yeah.
Nonetheless.
Yeah.
And a great scene where Drax tries to attack and is turned into clay blocks.
Yeah. And Mantis tries to help and then is turned into like
ribbons or
slinky or some sort of thing.
And Gamora tries to stab. And her life disappears.
Yeah. And then Quill comes out and points the gun at Thanos, which then where Gamora then is like, remember what you promised, and what he had promised her was that if Thanos ever got her, he would kill her. He would kill Gamora. Star-Lord would kill Gamora. Would prioritize killing Gamora
because she had important information.
Yeah,
and as soon as she said that, I knew it was the stone.
Oh. Yeah,
she knew about the stone.
Yeah.
Oh, you just realized.
I just realized.
Yeah. No, she had the information about the stone. As soon as she said it, I was like, "This is the stone we didn't know about."
Yeah.
She knows where it is.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't connect.
No, but again, there's a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say this is also a great thing. You know, when these situations usually happen between a couple, and they're like, "You promised you were gonna shoot me" and such, they never do it. But he actually pulled the trigger.
He pulled the trigger.
He was ready to
kill her
because that's what she wanted.
Yeah.
And I thought that was great. Because usually in these things, it's kind of like,
I can't do it.
He actually said 2 or 3 times, he said, "I told you to go to the right." And I was like, he's saying that because he wanted to dodge to the right and then shoot Thanos. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And that would have also been clever.
Yeah.
But I like this a lot more.
Yeah.
Because he was like, "I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
That's what I promised.
Yeah.
And I love you."
And what I thought about those, I mean, just to explain, he when Thanos hasn't seen them yet, he's like, he hatches a plan and he says, "All right, I need Gamora and Mantis to go right," and then they immediately go left, totally ignoring it.
The other right, he says.
Yeah. And then she's catched, and then you can just see him. And I just think also great acting from Pratt, where he's just like, I told you to go right. Yeah. Just like
this went wrong because you didn't listen.
Yeah. Yeah. Just how I can just feel the regret in his words. Like, just why didn't you go right? Damn it. And then he pulls the trigger, and then just bubbles come out.
It's just bubbles.
And that's one of 2 times we see weapons being turned into bubbles
by Thanos.
My
theory is he's a big child.
I don't think he's a big child, but I could see there being some sort of subliminal messaging. Yeah. But I don't think it's him being a big child. I don't think a big child wants to eradicate.
It's just, he could have turned it into something more ominous, like dust or something, like he does at the end.
Yeah.
But no, bubbles.
We need to like look into the symbolism of bubbles and what that means.
He then takes Gamora and teleports away.
Yeah. To find the Soul Stone.
Yeah, he returns home to his base.
Yeah.
Where he can further interrogate her.
Actually, where he has Nebula in a sort of a torture position chamber sort of a thing. Yeah. Where he then reveals that he knows that Gamora knows where the Soul Stone is. Which I didn't really get that.
She was sent out.
I know, I get that. But what we see from Nebula's recording is that Gamora says she has destroyed the stone.
No, she destroyed the map leading to the stone.
Oh, okay. I totally missed that. I thought she said she destroyed the stone.
No. She found a map. And my guess is she studied it and knew the location. Yeah. And then she burned it.
Okay. I totally blanked out on that map thing.
But
all makes sense now.
Yeah, she found a map of some sort. I can't remember if we go to nowhere next or what we do. Sorry, not nowhere. The star. I can't remember.
No.
Let's just go for the star thing.
Yeah. So we get to the star, which is usually run by a lot of dwarves.
But they're all dead.
There's only one left, which is has melted hands.
His hands were taken from him, from Thanos.
In some way.
Because Thanos requested that they make the gauntlet.
Yeah.
And they did.
They requested him to make the gauntlet, which he then did, in the hopes that it would save his entire dwarven civilizations.
Yeah.
Which it then didn't.
It didn't. Again, not destroying half of the civilization.
That's not half the civilization. Perhaps. Maybe there were just 2 dwarves, you know?
He said there were 300. He explicitly said 300.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
But that's Dinklage's character.
Yeah. Which becomes quite crucial.
Yeah, he's ready to make a new weapon for Thor. Yeah. And I think this is actually not the most important thing.
A Thanos Destroyer.
It calls the Stormbreaker or something.
I felt like it also had a Nordic name.
I can't remember. I just felt like he said it was called the Stormbringer, as far as I remember.
Yeah, which was an axe.
Yeah, and it's actually
which
a
turned
cross
out to
between
be an axe hammer.
Yeah, it's actually more kind of like a smith's hammer, which kind of has a really stereotypical dwarven.
The big problem here is that the star is dead, or at least turned off.
Yeah.
So they need to turn it back on in order to melt the steel and make the weapon. So
I actually think we cut to this place multiple times. It kind of goes. We first meet the dwarf, we cut away, we go back. So, but they make. I think it's just it's not that interesting really.
They make a big fat axe, which then needs a handle. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the cool thing.
Where we actually, for the first and maybe the only time in the movie where teenage Groot actually steps really up and makes a handle out of his own hand. So it's hand. The axe is like half Groot, half
this metal
guards.
Yeah. I really like the look of it. This kind of like not perfect handle for this quite beautiful axe.
Yeah,
it was cool.
But I think we're closing in on Wakanda now.
Actually, I remember what we totally forgot.
What?
We forgot when the Guardians meets Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Spider-Man on the planet. We also forgot them confronting Ebony Maw on the spaceship and killing him.
But is that already now? Is that before?
That's before Wakanda.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just a lot happening.
Yeah,
but again,
so lost.
We talked about Peter and Iron Man in space with Doctor Strange.
Being on the spaceship.
On the spaceship, they eventually kill the guy.
Yeah, they suck him. They hatch a clever plan, which end up with him being sucked out into the.
Yeah, it was quite good, and I just love the line from Peter going with the same thing he said back in Civil War. In Civil War, he said, "Do you remember that old movie Empire Strikes Back?"
Yeah,
and in this, he's like, "Do you remember that old movie Aliens?" And you can just see Tony going like, "Ugh."
Yeah, so old.
But he actually does the aliens plan by shooting a hole in the wall and
sucking Ebony Maw out.
Yeah, and it works. And they talk a bit about returning to Earth. They decide to confront Thanos on Titan.
And then they're attacked by
the Guardians.
Yeah, Quill and basically
Quill, Drax, Mantis. That's it, right?
That's it.
Yeah. We quickly have one.
That's also a fun fight.
It's a fun fight, and we have one of those stupid fights where we don't know each other, but we won't really say anything to each other. So let's fight.
And then they kind of figure out that they both after Thanos, so why not join forces?
Yeah, they decide to join forces.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's a really fun fight. Actually,
it's a really fun fight. Just a really fun ending to a fight.
Drax is just stuck all throughout the fight, fighting with Doctor Strange's cape.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Yeah.
Really?
So, come on. So we get to Wakanda.
We get to Wakanda.
Yeah, where Captain America and the whole crew with Vision and Scarlet Witch has arrived.
And I'm just briefly gonna mention again a brilliant scene with Banner and Rhodey, where Banner's like, "We're supposed to bow. He's a king, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah. Rhodey's like, "Yeah, you should bow.
And then he gets over and he begins to bow, and then T'Challa's like, "We don't do that here." And you can just see Rhodey.
And Rhodey's just like, "What are you doing, you weirdo?"
It's just a great little moment.
Good banter. But they've come to Wakanda to see if they can get the Mind Stone out of Vision.
Yeah.
Because they have learned that Vision actually has become much more than just the stone.
He was Jarvis, and he has parts of Banner's technology and
Ultron
and Stark and
so
he's much more.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Black Panther. So I'm just gonna say I love the Wakanda stuff because it looked really tribal.
Cool. Yeah.
But they were so high tech.
Yeah.
So
it was a perfect match of like the old tribal
uniforms,
like
and
Yoruba, Nigerian kind of tribe, and then the just highest of techs.
And we get to this operating table where she's like, "Why didn't you try and do this and this and this?" And then Banner's like, "We didn't really think of that."
Well, we didn't think of that. And then you just see this genius science woman where she's just like, "Okay,
okay, I guess." So, they start the operation.
They start the invasion, and I think we actually get a hint of the invasion. That is to
something's
come.
coming.
Yeah.
I think it's the meteors coming
The
from
meteors
space.
coming down. Yeah.
And we see this great force field Wakanda has.
Yeah.
Just blocking out this total
Everything.
meteor which would have landed in the square.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely.
Oh,
Wakanda is so cool.
and Bucky saying, I love this place.
Yeah. But then we transfer back. I think actually what the next thing that happens is maybe Thanos going to the planets of the soul. The soul
I
stone.
don't even think we get the name of the planet.
We got the name.
Okay,
we
we
got the
can't
name.
remember it.
It's Torvia.
You're right, Torvia. Very well remembered.
Thank you. Which is sort of a desolate place.
Yeah, and Gamora has caved into Thanos because he threatened to torture Nebula.
Yeah. He actually tortured her, and then
she was split apart.
Something happened. It
She
didn't
was kind
look
of
pretty, and
she was kind of disassembled.
Yeah, and I gotta say, actually, very good acting from I don't know who.
Karen Gillan.
Is that
she's called
Nebula?
Yeah, she's most people know her from Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't watch that.
No, but
yeah. The point is, she was actually very convincing in making it seem like that actually was painful and extremely painful.
And that scene really established how cruel Thanos is.
Yeah,
I think that was
how
actually
cynical he can be.
Yeah, that was actually one of them where you were like, okay, he's not a kind man.
He don't give any fucks.
But they arrive at Torvia.
And another I wouldn't say cameo, but another a familiar face.
Yeah, there's this kind of prophet character going, I'm guarding the Soul Stone, and only those worthy can go here. And then they're like, how do you know?
I'm curious to know everyone who comes here.
I can see the future of everyone coming here.
Yeah.
And it's Red Skull.
It is Red Skull.
I'm actually not sure if that was Hugo Weaving or not.
That was Hugo Weaving.
For me, the voice, I couldn't quite place it.
It was the same he used in Captain America.
Yeah, I was just like, is it? Because I also thought I heard rumors about him not really...
Wanting?
Yeah, to go back.
Oh.
They,
I must admit, I was totally convinced it was Hugo Weaving.
I think it was because of the rumors. I was like, I think I heard something about him not wanting to come back to the role.
Again, Lux is gonna check, and then he's gonna say if it actually is or isn't Hugo Weaving.
Right here.
And it's gonna like edit in.
Oh, please don't.
As I do this, so it says it is Hugo Weaving.
Thank you. So yeah,
it's
Red Skull.
Yeah, we get to this high altar, and everyone, including Thanos, is kind of like, all right, where is it?
Just quickly, what did you think of Red Skull appearing?
I had little opinion. I think it was
okay.
Yeah,
but I was like, I wanted them to use him for something better.
Yeah,
in the future.
But just to go on what you said, if Hugo Weaving actually didn't really want to come back,
this might have been a good compromise to actually.
This probably was the compromise.
Yeah, and actually show what the hell happened at the end of the first Avenger, because he just teleported away.
Yeah, and it closes the chapter of Red Skull, which we haven't had since
the first Captain America. Yeah. So it worked quite well.
So I think it was just a good alternative.
Yeah,
that worked for everyone. But then we get to this altar, and Thanos is like with the Soul Stone, and I would say the Prophet or Hugo or Red Skull says the obvious, that
Hugo Red Skull
says the obvious, which was only obvious when I actually heard it, that in order to get the Soul Stone, you have to give a soul.
Yeah, and then he
specifies, give a soul of one you love.
Yeah, something you love.
And this is one of the reasons that I in the previous one said that Gamora was one of my favorite characters in this. True. Because then she starts to
mock him,
Thanos, because she has this belief that Thanos never loved anybody. That Thanos is just pure
evil.
No, not pure evil, but just pure drive for the skull that he has, and nothing will stand in his way, not even love.
And so she mocks him.
She mocks him. And she's like, all this effort, and it's gonna fail.
And now you're stopped
because you can't figure out how to love.
She also even talks about, I thought at some point the universe would stop you. Yeah. I stopped believing a long time ago because it just didn't. Yeah. But now, and while
all this is happening, you can just see Thanos And
with
again,
his back turned against her.
Perfect acting from
Brolin,
where you can just see him that he realizes what he has to do now.
He
has to kill probably the only person he loves.
He turns around and you see tears on his face, and she's like, "Who are you crying for?"
Actually, she's kind of like, see, I got the feeling that she was like, tears, really? Like, are you trying to act for this altar? Are you trying to make it seem like you love me?
Yeah.
To
or just maybe surprised. She's like, what is this?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah. And then, I mean, I saw it coming a mile away.
I'm just briefly going to mention my little theory, because in the comics, Thanos, the reason he does all this with the Infinity Stones is actually to court death. He's in love with the personification of death.
Yeah.
So I had this little nifty idea with a metaphor kind of thing, where he was like, the thing he loved was death. Something like him giving that up. Something like it would have been a great moment, I actually think, if you thought he was going to sacrifice something and he actually got invulnerable or immortal because he sacrificed death.
Can I tweak that a little bit?
Yeah.
I know from the comics that Thanos is in love with death, but is also jealous that death is in love with Deadpool.
Yeah.
And Deadpool is immortal.
He is.
So, what would have been a better theory was that if Thanos actually sought immortality, but gave that up in order to sway death, to improve death.
I was just
because that would be the much bigger sacrifice. I mean,
I just, again, when we talked about Gamora being so mocking, it would have struck her so hard
if he just jumped over.
If he just sacrificed death and became even more powerful.
Yeah.
That it was just a brief little theory. They didn't mention it at all, actually. No. This whole death thing. It might come into play in the next film. I don't know. It might.
Yeah, I think maybe I could also see them just dropping it just because Deadpool is in another universe.
Yeah, Deadpool, it's true he's a part of the story, but he's actually not that important to his whole courting death thing.
No.
But still, I like also Adam Warlock is a character in the comics. He's quite important to Infinity War. He's not a part of this because he wasn't.
We don't know.
He isn't a part of the first movie.
No, that's
but in the Infinity War comic. Yeah. He is the one introducing everyone to the concept of Infinity Stones and telling them about Thanos and all this.
Yeah, okay.
That's not the role he plays this time. It's more Stephen Strange, I would actually say.
Yeah, Stephen Strange.
So he sacrifices the one thing he loves.
Gamora. And gets the Soul Stone.
He chucks her off a cliff.
And kills her.
And I didn't actually like the scene. It was a bit... We saw her falling and then suddenly just cut to her laying in the snow. I would have actually liked to see her,
hit kind of
impact.
I could have been without that. I thought it was fine enough to just see her laying still on the ground.
It was fine. I would just have liked the impact. Yeah. Again, minor critiques. But he gets the stone.
But and now things starts to escalate.
Yeah,
because then
he only needs one stone now.
Yeah, he needs the...
No, sorry, he needs two. The Eye of Agamotto and the Mind Stone from Vision.
True. And I think he knows that people have gone to... keep forgetting his... Titan. To seek out him.
He arrives.
And he has people going to Earth to get the
Mind Stone.
Vision Stone.
Yeah.
So, and that's sort of the climax that we see this big... war in Wakanda, and we see this
more personal
fight on Titan.
And again, when he comes to Titan, he only thinks Stephen Strange is there.
Yeah,
and it's quite surprised. Stephen Strange is like, "We are here to finish you," or something. And he's like, "We?"
And then Stark drops a
giant part of a ship or something.
Yeah, down.
And he's like, "That was easy." He actually says it. He's like, "That was easy."
Yeah.
and Strange is like, No.
Not done.
Not done at all.
Yeah. And we see in Wakanda these giant pods land in the jungle, and then just swarms of this alien.
I was actually gonna say, we saw in the flashback with Gamora and her civilization.
Yeah.
We saw the Chitauri. We saw the Leviathans and the Chitauri.
Yeah.
This wasn't the Chitauri.
Nope.
It was a bit. I would have thought it would have been. It might also have been a part of the Chitauri, community race, just things we hadn't seen before.
I must admit that I think the Chitauri has taken a massive blow from the first Avenger movie, where I think their entire army got blown up by Stark and his atom bomb.
I just think many would have, also because we saw it in the flashback, many would have thought the Chitauri would be the ones in invading Wakanda.
Yeah. And it's just important to remember that what happened in the flashback was
it's
even
before Avengers. I know.
So many of the Chitauri who killed all of Gamora's
they're dead.
They died in New York, or just outside New York in the universe.
Yeah, these dog-like aliens start attacking the
very rapid dogs, and they just run up to the barrier.
Yeah, and claw at it.
And claw at it and try to push through, and then some of them sort of get partially through, and
then
the
it
barrier
closes.
just kind of shuts off again, and then they just decapitate it.
It's a really cool scene, actually.
It's a cool scene, but then, and that's one of the things where I this is a good way to initiate a fight. All the dogs, because they come in so massive numbers, they start to encircle this barrier, and
they're actually going for vision. Some of them.
I don't know if they do that.
I think that's what they think, at least.
And what Captain America then realizes, if they're gonna encircle the whole thing and the barrier then shuts down, then they have a direct line to vision. So what they need to do is they need to open and then take the fight head on.
One quick thing to say also, Proxima Midnight and the guy with the big axe says, "You killed our friend." The one looking like Green Goblin.
Yeah.
It's just important to say, they say he's dead. He died from his wounds.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, he's not dead. This is just all part of their plan.
Yeah.
And it totally is. Yeah. He at some point, he attacks Vision. Yeah. It's all part of their plan. But like you said, it's quite clever. They open a little part of the barrier.
Yeah.
So they can kind of funnel them in.
Yeah. What's it called? Bottleneck.
Yeah. So a big fight.
Escalates there.
Everyone is there, and a great thing where Banner's actually in the Hulkbuster suit, so he can be Hulk without being Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk is still reluctant to come out, so he gets Iron Man, and I guess it's the Iron Man suit which he used to subdue Hulk when they were in Wakanda. I don't know if they were in Wakanda or Nigeria the last time. The Age of Ultron.
It's an Age of Ultron, and
was it in Wakanda?
No, it wasn't, because Wakanda is also closed off.
Yeah, so it was Nigeria or something.
I think it was something.
Lagos.
Yeah, but at some point Wakanda got their hands on the suit. Yeah. I don't know how,
and I think it's the same suit. Yeah, and I think that's funny.
I think that's the suit.
I think that's funny.
It's funny. Yeah. It's really good.
So Banner is kind of slowly learning how this thing works.
Actually, Wakanda does quite a good job.
Yeah, I would say so.
I would say not as good as Tony, but
but Tony's had quite a few years of training.
Yeah. So the fight breaks out.
But if we go to Titan, and then we jump to Titan, where Thanos is getting pretty pissed that people keep jumping on him and actually doing damage.
Quite a decent job. I will also say this is it's great to see him using the Infinity Stones at this point.
Yeah.
Changing between the colors, using the different powers and such.
They are very good at showing that Thanos really knows how to utilize this glove that he's got.
And just at this point, his fight with Strange, where they're kind of Strange is firing something off, he parries it, converts it, and shoots it at Strange, and Strange does the same thing. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah. But then the big thing here happens is that they actually get him.
They have a plan to take his gauntlet
off. And they actually succeed in subduing him.
Yeah, they teleport Mantis on top of his head, and she uses her emotion suppressing things.
Yeah, we have Drax around his hands. We have
no, his leg. Drax around the leg, and Peter
has his web around one hand. I think
Iron Man is also on the hand.
Iron Man is on the same hand.
They're trying to pull the glove off.
Strange on the other hand, and then we have Krill sort of running around. And this right here, this is my big flaw with the
this is the stupidest thing.
Yeah,
I agree.
So they have actually subdued him. He can barely talk.
Yeah, he's kind of
he's in a very, very deep trance.
And they're actually slowly pulling off the glove.
They're slowly pulling off the glove, and then Krill comes up and asks him, "What have you done with Gamora?"
And as a fucking idiot, Mantis is like, his feelings are too much. He is regretting.
Yeah.
He is mourning.
Yeah.
And then Nebula, who's also there by the way, she's like, it's Gamora.
Yeah. So Nebula kind of says what everyone's thinking.
Yeah.
Gamora is dead, and Peter Quill then goes to Thanos saying, "Is this true?"
And we're back.
And then it was day outside. So yeah, some technical difficulties happened.
Yeah.
And our battery ran out. So
we needed to record the next day.
Yeah, we went to bed and we're back.
Pondered things, got an even better perspective of everything.
No.
Don't tell them.
So where we left off talking was that Peter had pretty much gotten the glove off of Thanos.
It actually seemed like it was completely off his hand.
Yeah. And then Thanos breaks out of this trance
and kind of goes into the glove again.
No, I think he actually first of all he just grabs it
and
takes it from Peter and then puts it on. So it was completely off.
And then everything pretty much goes to shit on Titan.
Yeah, they get their asses whooped.
Especially Iron Man.
Yeah.
We get this whole scene where he's fighting Thanos.
And Thanos just predicts everything.
Yeah, and Thanos actually acknowledges him, which is, we thought was both a weird thing. He was like, I know you, Tony Stark. You're cursed with with knowledge.
You're not the only one
cursed with knowledge, I think.
Knowledge or something.
Yeah. And Tony is like, how do you know my name?
Yeah.
And then he says, the only thing I'm cursed with is you.
Yeah.
Because he's been on his mind since the first Avengers.
Yeah.
And then he gets beaten up and stabbed.
And that's where we were both looking at each other saying, alright, so this
is the end for Iron Man.
Of Captain America and Tony Stark, it was Tony Stark who went.
Which was one of the really clever things they did. They really played with the whole idea of who was going to die, because we knew some people were going to die.
Yeah.
And actually, again, quite a human moment for Thanos, I think, where he's like, you fought bravely.
Yeah.
I hope your people will remember you.
Yeah.
I respect you.
Yeah. Another way of showing that Thanos is actually, he's not just this murderous villain.
He doesn't want to murder Tony. No. It's just it's necessary.
Yeah.
For his whole mission.
Yeah. And then he disappears and goes to Wakanda.
No, it's more important to state that Strange then steps in and stops Thanos from murdering Tony by offering the Time Stone.
Yeah.
That's how he gets the stone.
Yeah.
Strange is like...
And that's actually also important to note that before the fight starts, Strange sits and meditates, and something we see his head sort of like jacking around.
Yeah, he's like out of time. It seems.
Well, I couldn't see that, but then he gets out of it, and then he says, "I traveled forward in time and looked at 14,605
possibilities,
different possibilities of this fight," and then they ask, "How many did we win?" And he's just said, "One."
One.
Yeah. And he then gives the Infinity Stone to Thanos.
The Time Stone.
Which we must assume was part of his plan.
Because
afterwards he says it had to be done.
Yeah. I even think when he does it, you briefly get Tony saying, why did you do it? And then he says something like...
It had to be done.
So, Strange knows something.
Strange knows something.
And we know he knew they had to sacrifice all of those people to eventually... be successful in stopping Thanos.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, it's quite chilling, because he also, I'm guessing, knew he would die. That was a part of the one plan that would succeed.
Yeah.
Him disappearing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he must have seen himself die.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if he must, but he might have seen himself die and realized, alright, well...
This had to be done.
Fuck it then. But then Thanos... takes to Wakanda to get the final Mind Stone, which I surprisingly was the big one. I thought actually the Soul Stone would be the big one.
I would have thought the same, because when it's actually in Vision, it's very small.
Yeah.
They kind of did it when you actually see it being ripped out. You can actually see it's larger on the inside of Vision's head.
Yeah, okay.
But I can't remember when we got it from Loki's scepter, is if it was small or if it actually was that kind of big. They actually made it seem like it kind of developed in his brain and kind of grew a tumor-like behind the front of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah. So the fight in Wakanda, Thor has entered the battle. which I actually don't
he
know.
enters
Before.
That's right, and some of the henchmen die. Proxima Midnight is ripped to shreds by these giant death wheels, which is quite cool. You see Scarlet Witch just throwing her up, and then she's shredded to pieces.
Yeah.
And you see Black Widow saying something like,
That's gross.
That's gross, because she has alien blood all over her face.
Yeah. And the guy who I don't know what his
with the
name
axe
is.
or
No, not the big guy. The guy with the
Green Goblin.
spear. Green Goblin guy. Exactly. He's actually the one closest to actually getting the Mind Stone from Vision. But then I think it's
him
Bruce Banner and Captain America that comes to like Vision's aid.
Yeah, and Banner takes care of the guy with the big axe by not hulking out, but by using the Hulkbuster.
Yeah,
that's also quite a gruesome scene when he attaches a rocket to him
and then just
scrapes him along the barrier.
Yeah,
and
then
just
he explodes.
Yeah. You can just see his flesh kind of peeling off while he's scraping against the barrier.
It wasn't good. It was a quite brutal movie, actually.
It was,
and,
especially in Wakanda. I think all those things happening there were quite gruesome.
They were brutal.
And they eventually take care of the Green Goblin
as well.
Vision and Captain America working together.
Yes.
And then Thanos enters.
And then actually, where I think many people were shocked, where we have Scarlet Witch just trying to prevent all of this from happening, trying to destroy the stone. In Vision's head. They discussed it actually in Scotland, I think.
Yeah, they discussed it a lot of times.
Yeah, that if it were to happen, she needed to destroy this.
Her powers are derived from the stones, therefore she can destroy them.
Yeah, and pretty much everyone tried to hold off Thanos.
And aren't succeeding.
And just are failing miserably. But she succeeds in destroying the stone.
She kind of holds off Thanos whilst destroying the stone.
Yeah.
And Vision, a giant explosion happens, and Vision is just torn to pieces.
Yeah.
You kind of see this little nuclear kind of blast.
He's obliterated. And then I actually kind of thought, well, at least he didn't get that stone.
Yeah, and at that point I was like...
I completely forgot that he had just gotten the time stone.
Which I actually think many had, because it was just 5 minutes ago or something. I was at this point, I was like... Because you saw the Infinity Stone go into smaller pieces, and I was like...
Well, he can mend that.
He can put them back together or something. But no, he just does the green thing and
reverts back time and then like rips it out of that.
And the look
Vision's head
on Scarlet Witch when she realizes what he's doing is just horrible.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. So he takes the Mind Stone.
But that's actually interesting because we see Doctor Strange and he's seen all these possibilities. But if he hadn't given him that time stone,
the Mind Stone would have been destroyed.
The Mind Stone would have been destroyed.
Yeah, unless he had some other means. I said, I think they could have done it another way.
They could have worked around it maybe, but
you're right. It's quite interesting because what if he hadn't?
Yeah.
But again,
what if he just waited?
Yeah.
I mean.
But again, we must consider that he knows what's gonna happen.
He knew.
Yeah, sorry.
Then Thanos has the entire Infinity Gauntlet, and we're all sitting, waiting for him to snap his fingers.
And then
Thor just thrust his hammer axe down into his chest.
It's so glorious because Thanos kind of shoots this laser ray with all the colors of the Infinity Stones, trying to stop this fucking axe.
And it just doesn't work.
It doesn't work. It just cuts through all the lasers and impales his fucking chest.
Yeah.
So only the handle is sticking out of his chest.
It is pretty much piercing through him at this point.
And he doesn't look well.
No, he actually looks like that really hurt.
Yeah.
That really hurt.
And Thor's like, I told you.
You would pay with your life.
Yeah.
And then he just looks up and said, "You should have gone for the head." And then
I think I said to you at that point, "All the fucking arm. Yeah. Why did no one ever go for the fucking arm?"
But that's what I'm thinking. Thor, at this point, doesn't really know about the Infinity Gauntlet.
True, but that was my major problem with the plan on Titan. I was like, Tony, you have all these nanobots that can actually make
his arm.
Blow off or cut off his arm while he's dazed, instead of trying to pull off the gauntlet.
Yeah, he can get it back if you pull it off.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the plan. They will get it off, Strange will create a teleport. People will go into the teleport and they will leave Thanos there.
I was just like, cut instead of trying to pull it off.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. But I can see it for Thor because he actually didn't know. He saw the gauntlet as a big weapon, as a powerful weapon, but he knew that if his thought process was, if he kills Thanos, then the gauntlet is useless, pretty much. Yeah.
You could argue, I would say, because he knows about the Infinity Stones, and he was at the dwarves who made the gauntlet, so he knows the function of all these things.
Yeah, but it's also I mean, you could say that. But
it's just a counterpoint.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. I also think he's just fueled by rage at this point for his dead brother and Heimdall.
Yeah. And every Asgardian, you must assume.
So I think he's just attacking,
Yeah,
you know.
he just wants to hurt Thanos. And then Thanos
snaps his finger. After trying to...
And then, actually, what I totally forgot, he gets into a flash or some sort of seance
where he meets Gamora,
baby Gamora, where she says, "Is it done?" And he says, "Yes." And what did it cost you? And he said, "Everything."
Everything.
I'm very confused as to what that means.
Well, I see it just on the not going too deep or thinking too much about it. It cost him Gamora, and it cost him all of his henchmen and all these things. You know,
because we actually also know that losing his henchmen is a loss to him.
When he was on Titan, he was like, "Did you kill Ebony Maw?"
Yeah,
and then he says, "Great losses were expected."
Yeah,
he's like, "I knew we were gonna lose people."
Yeah. But that scene, I feel like it has a deeper meaning.
True, but I just think, at the uppermost layer, it's just he lost a lot of things to say.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. There might be something more.
And the most tragic 5 minutes in this century's this decade's cinema probably happens.
It's great because you're like, what happened? Yeah. He snapped his finger, and then you start with Bucky, and he just disintegrates.
He just it looks like brown leaves just falling to the ground. Then
or ashes or something.
Yeah, we have Bucky starting it. Then is it Falcon that goes next?
I actually think it's T'Challa quite early on.
It's not T'Challa because they started off with some of the small. So I think it was Bucky, it was Falcon.
I guess Scarlet Witch, perhaps.
Maybe Scarlet Witch, and then we see T'Challa.
Yeah, Black Panther.
Coming to his general and like, "General, this is no place to die."
Yeah.
And then as he grabs for his hand, as she grabs for his hand.
Her hand.
No, as she grabs for his hand to get up, it disappears.
Yeah.
And I could just hear people like, "Oh no!"
And I was like, again, I'm just gonna say, this was one of the
Could
few.
you maybe save it for after we've talked?
Fair enough.
Yeah, because then we go to.
I guess it's Titan.
Next. Where pretty much all of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Quill, Drax, Mantis disappears.
Groot also.
That's
also
back
dead.
on Wakanda.
But also one missing.
Strange, where he actually says the line, "It had to happen."
Yeah. So he knew. He must have known. And then the most heart-wrenching...
I would say the most heartbreaking.
But for everyone. And they made... And they
Again, I'm a big
played,
Spider-Man fan, but they really played to this mentor, stepdad kind of
But
thing.
also just this Peter Parker who has been this
16,
big
17-year
cool
kid.
superhero who just turned back to this kid being very afraid of dying.
Yeah. He kind of stumbles. He's like, I don't feel so good.
Yeah, and I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then just lay down and then just says, "I'm sorry."
Yeah,
and that's even for me who has no relationship to him, heart-wrenching.
It's heart-wrenching, especially when you see Tony just holding him and he disappears in his arms.
And you just see Tony. He just feels so much guilt for that. He should never have been on that trip.
He should have turned that space ring around as soon as he knew that he was on board.
Yeah. It was that was horrible.
It was.
But then Thanos disappears. He teleports away,
and we see him looking over a green field, actually enjoying the sunrise.
As he said, he would look. I think he said something about he would look. He would, after this was done, he would find rest. He would sit and look on the sunrise of a grateful universe or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And we briefly talked about it. It's quite interesting where he might be. I had a little theory.
You thought it was the Titan?
I thought he might have, with all these mind-altering things he could do now, he might have recreated Titan. Not with the civilization necessarily, just so it's not a dead planet.
Yeah, because it seemed like he actually loved that planet.
It was his home.
Yeah.
It might just be another planet. It's hard to say.
But I think it's a good theory that it might be Titan. We also had a theory that because we of course stayed for the end credit, where you see that Nick Fury and
Maria Hill,
is also one of the unlucky ones.
You are in New York whilst it's all happening.
Yeah. So we see a chopper flying in because of course the pilot disappeared,
and we see
a car
smashing into them
to the just in front of them. And then we see Hill disappearing, and then we see Nick Fury, who has pressed sort of a transmitter or a
when I actually look in retrospect, I think it's a modified pager.
Yeah, it's a pager.
Right?
It looks like a pager,
which is quite fitting for the 90s setting with Captain Marvel.
Yep, and we see the Captain Marvel logo.
And he goes like mother.
Yeah, and it also and that's also something I looked into, that he looked like he knew what was happening.
I think this is. I'm not quite sure he actually knew this was Thanos and all of that.
You know?
I just think this is his biggest contingency plan. He's like, things are really going bad. Maria Hill just disappeared. I'm about to disappear.
Yeah.
Press that fucking button.
Yeah, might be. I just
hard to tell.
The way Samuel L. Jackson acted, I felt like he saw that what was happening to Maria Hill, and he was like, all right, this is Thanos. But
it's hard to tell.
Long shot. And then we see the text, Thanos will return,
which is so damn funny, I think.
But also weird, because according to his plan, Thanos is done.
We are at this point where it's quite hard to tell what's going to happen in the next movie. I think it's quite certain that the survivors are going to team up and try to take down Thanos.
But that's where I think that they need a motivation for doing that.
All their friends are dead.
But there's peace, you know. There's no trouble, and I know.
Well, I don't feel like the citizens of Earth think of this as peace.
And to be honest, the only people really knowing that they can revert it is dead. No, Doctor Strange.
Tony knows it was part of the plan.
Yeah. So maybe reverting it kind of messes up the plan.
Or that is part of the plan.
Yeah.
I'm really at this point. I'm at this theory. Doctor Strange knew they needed to be sacrificed, but it's possible to save them.
Yeah,
I think it makes a lot of sense.
But I also just going on the whole Tony Stark needing to be done with all this war and things. He needs a motivation to go to Thanos, restarting this war.
I think when we actually start the next movie, we meet them broken down, and they're
broken down.
Mentally, they traumatized from all of this. I think it's going to take a lot to actually, them gathering.
Yeah.
I think that might be the job of Captain Marvel.
Maybe. I was kind of a theory, and we were both on the theory that we think Pepper Potts is dead.
Yeah, and I actually thought it was quite brilliant. The other thing, him needing to go to Aunt May and telling about Peter.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get some quite horrible scenes at the start.
Yep.
Because that's one of the really great things, actually. By just saying that half of the people on Earth died, they can really toy with this idea of who actually died.
One half of this Peter Parker and May, for example, one half of that duo died.
And because of so many characters are off screen, Happy, for example,
where he
could also be gone.
Yeah.
And it really makes for some interesting, things in the next movie.
Yeah. I think I could see a motivation for Tony to get back and revert time was that Pepper died, and he was like,
and I think Peter is also a great motivator just by him holding him like that. In the end.
Of course. But I think maybe Pepper will push.
We're not sure Pepper's dead, but I think it's. I would say it would be quite brilliant
if they want like the strong motivator, the double motivator. To be honest, they would have killed Pepper in that.
And then I'm just gonna say, like I kind of tried to before. When Black Panther died, that was my first thing. Like, that can't be true. This seems like too much. And then again, when most of the Guardians of the Galaxy disappeared, I was like, I know they have
another movie coming out.
movie, and I'm quite sure it actually takes place after
Infinity War.
Yeah. And then Spider-Man, who's slated to have 2 more movies. And that kinda, I can't say it ruined the experience. It didn't at all, actually. It was still heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But it kinda, it makes it a bigger possibility that people might return from the dead.
Yeah. And I was saying to you, you can't say that now. That's not fair to say now when we don't know, but it is fair to say that will be a disappointment to some degree, and when if they come back.
And I'm just gonna say my emotions while watching the film,
heart-wrenching.
Oh no, I'm just gonna say also it kind of lessened the momentum for me. I'm not saying it's the filmmaker's fault. It's just for me knowing all of this, knowing that there's another movie and such.
Yeah.
It kind of lessened the moment a little bit because I was like, this is too much. This can't really be true.
Yeah.
Kind of like in denial, but with some evidence to kind of back it up.
Yeah. All right. So our memory card won't let us allow to film anymore. So we're just gonna sign out.
We love the film.
Please go watch it.
Yeah. So, I hope you have watched it.
Yeah, so we can have a lot of discussions in the comment section about it. We probably will talk a little bit more about this movie, but you'll see. So
goodbye.
Bye bye.